Recently, I watched a video where this very well-known entrepreneur, creator, etc., was talking about how efficient, fantastic AI is, how it's great for the entrepreneur journey. And I gave some pushback. And my pushback is, I don't want my cognitive skills rotting. I don't want my strategic thinking rotting. So let me explain a little bit further about why we need to safeguard our level of strategic thinking, why we need to safeguard our creative edge and not look to automate and delegate everything away, because we are then in the danger of losing the very skills that people come to us for, that we want to attract more of an audience for. So let's get into this. Let me be clear, this is a disclaimer. I'm not completely rejecting AI, nor am I saying that there aren't opportunities. But what I really want to do is bring the focus back on us and our unique skills. Before AI, were we investing time on delivering value, really mastering our skills, and unlocking new levels of capability and abilities? I don't want us to lose that. And if we weren't doing it before, I think now's the time to really do it. You can probably see my laundry in the background and an unfinished painting. There was sudden rain, typical London weather, and I had to bring my laundry in. But let's continue with this video. Let's stand right in front of my unfinished painting. I think you'll agree that there's now a trend to allow AI to take over. There's a temptation to outsource all of our work to AI. And I think the danger is, if all of our creators and entrepreneurs begin to outsource to AI, we're going to lose that edge that we've had in this economy, in this market, in this profession. Because it's a profession, we'll lose what's so unique about creators and entrepreneurs. And it's probably why I've taken my writing really seriously now as I've launched my new Substack, because I don't want to lose that edge. In fact, writing takes regular practice, just like if you were playing a guitar or any kind of musical instrument, or if you were learning a language, you need to be constantly refining that skill. If I now outsource my ideas and my writing to AI, how will I get better at it? So this video, I want to talk about your strategy should be about retaining that creative edge, retaining the clarity that you offer to your audience. So I've spent over 20 years in communications, in media and PR. I've worked across industries, led campaigns and crafted narratives. And in the last few years, I've been investing in mastering systems thinking as I'm studying it at a postgrad level. And systems thinking is all about zooming out, seeing the interconnectedness of it all, identifying patterns, and making sense of messy, complex issues. So now I'm bringing all that experience together so that I can create content to help entrepreneurs and creators like you to level up your strategic intelligence. And this channel isn't just about creating content for your audience. It's got to be about building your strategic muscle. And if you've lost a lot of your muscle memory due to AI, let's bring it back. So whether you're managing a brand or navigating AI disruption, or just tired of playing small, strategic thinking is our edge. And we don't need to be everywhere. We just need to be able to zoom out and move more deliberately. And my background isn't just theory. I'm a creative. I write, I lead. I've been a qualified yoga teacher for more than 15 years. I problem solve, and I like to question things that others miss. That reflexivity, the ability to reflect, recalibrate and then move again, that's what I'm teaching and hopefully demonstrating. And quite honestly, from a public relations perspective, that kind of reflexivity is what protects your reputation, and it grows your brand and it sustains your momentum, or at least improves the chances of you sustaining your momentum. So when I think of AI and outsourcing to other tools or even other people and professionals, I try and do that thing that so many experts encourage us not to do, and that is try and do everything ourselves. sometimes I think I might be missing an opportunity for me to perhaps learn a new skill or get better at one I've not used as much. For instance, within my career in public relations and communications, I write a lot, but it's very different when you're writing for yourself, you're writing your own copy. And since I've relaunched my Substack, actually just started all over again, it's taken me back to my student journalism days. It's taken me back to my authorship days and my book editing days. And I just remember how wonderful the experience was to copyright, copy edit. And I used to always say this, and I'm sure I heard this from an author. It might have been Ali Smith at a lecture. And she said, the best writing happens in the edit. I don't know whether it was her who said this or somebody else, but when she was asked about her process when she's writing, she would say that she writes a few lines and then she edits as she goes along. Everyone has their own process, but you only discover your process when you're doing it. If we're outsourcing everything to an AI or to some software or to another person, when do we get the opportunity to not just learn that skill, but also benefit from the process? Because the process of building a brand, the process of improving in a skill is priceless. Why do we want to skip the process? And that's why I think when we level up our strategic thinking in our personal and in our professional life, we enhance the process. We give more to ourselves. We are actually filling the well. We are actually enhancing our vision and our ability to refine, revisit. Why do we want to lose that? I certainly don't. Here's where I will use AI on occasion. For instance, when I was first starting this second YouTube channel, I was so in my head because I have multiple streams of content creation and revenue. And in my head, I was thinking, how can I make this space more unique? So I flooded one chat. I can't recall whether it was Grok or ChatGPT. I flooded it with all my thoughts, just all my ideas. And it provided some interesting summaries, which I didn't follow verbatim, but I could kind of see how it was putting some of my ideas into categories and buckets. But the systems thinker in me wanted to do some of that work myself. Within systems thinking, we do this thing where we map things out. You look at sort of loops, they're called causal loop diagrams. You're looking at ways to categorize or place ideas together based on themes or their relationships. And I didn't want to miss doing that work, especially for someone like me who offers that expertise to listen, observe, and extract what is most relevant, what is most necessary, especially when you're crafting reputational statements in a crisis. So whilst I agree AI tools can be helpful for us to overcome that blank canvas sort of overwhelm, I don't want anything to rob me of my process. I don't want to miss out on the process. And I think being a creative, a multidisciplinary artist really helps me arrive at this conclusion, because when you are a creative and you are committed to building something, you're very much present with it. And you get so much joy from the process. You learn so much, not just about the thing that you're doing and making, but you learn a lot about yourself. And that's why I think there's an opportunity to build your brand with depth, with resilience, with clarity. And I think if that's you, then you're in the right place. You can subscribe for weekly episodes. You can also subscribe to my newsletter, and I'll continue to provide tutorials and deep dives to sharpen your strategic thinking. And if you want to level up your strategic skills, then you can check out my masterclasses, all available on my site. Well, that's just great. Now the rain stopped. I'm going to put this laundry back out. Well, it's quite lovely outside now. I might just head outside and do some much needed gardening, but I absolutely get it. I understand why a lot of creators, entrepreneurs, people in business, people in work, professional work, want to capitalize on the moment. They want to use the opportunities that are available right now. I just think There's a danger of being seduced by a short-term opportunity, and that we can so easily forget just how vital we are, how vital our skills are, and how much potential the human brain has and human contribution has. So I'm going to remain cautious, and I'm going to cautiously advise you to not let your thinking decay, definitely not your strategic thinking, and not to outsource your vision. Sounding boards are great. It's like having a great conversation with a guide, a mentor, a friend, but then you should always come back to yourself, come back to your drawing board. I think strategic thinking isn't a luxury, it's our creative advantage. And having been in consulting roles and building my own content platforms, cultivating new audiences, and exploring different platforms and different trends in user behavior, there is so much that me as a solopreneur can learn when I give myself to the process. And I have found that there's a risk to that. And the risk is AI. The risk is that we outsource key components and key moments that could really rob us of our process. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.